Hi everyone, this is William from the Headphone Experience, and I'm here tonight with my first impressions of the iFi Neo Idsd deck. This was loaned to me by iFi Audio for review, and they are out of Southport, UK. This retails at $699, and that would be in US dollars. This is a combination DAC, headphone amp, and preamp, and this unit has 3 digital inputs that would be USB, coaxial, and optical, and it has 4 analog outputs. It has a 6.3 millimeter standard headphone output that would be single-ended. It has a 4.4 millimeter balanced headphone output, and on the rear you have a set of RCA outputs, analog outputs, and a set of balanced analog outputs. Those would be 3-pin XLRs. This unit, I did want to mention that the analog outputs on the rear are, you can be switched from either fixed output to use this as a standalone DAC, or they can be set to variable so you can control them with the volume knob and use this unit as a preamp. This unit uses Burr Brown DAC chipsets. It uses a XMO 16-core microcontroller and a GMT Femto precision clock. It accepts PCM signals up to 32 bits and 768 kilohertz. It accepts DSD up to 512, and it also accepts MQA signals, and it also has Bluetooth. The headphone balanced output on this is rated by iFi at 1040 milliwatts into 32 ohms, and the single-ended output is rated at 295 milliwatts into 32 ohms. iFi says that the signal-to-noise ratio is 112 decibels, but I swear I saw somewhere that it was 120 decibels, so I'm not sure about that. The total harmonic distortion is rated at 0.0015%, and the dynamic range is rated at 120 decibels. The size of this is, it is about 8.4 inches wide. It's about 5.7 inches deep from front to back, and it's about 1.6 inches tall. The weight is 2.14 pounds, and that works out to about 970 grams. I did want to show you this unit, and first thing I wanted to show you, which I think something that's really cool, is this unit does come with this little aluminum stand, and the entire casing of this is aluminum, I believe. Yeah, this is all aluminum. Well, anyway, this stand can be put on it like so, and you can stand it up on end. And what's really cool is, I found this out shortly after turning it on, is that when you stand it up, the display panel, which would normally be in this position here, when you stand it up, the numbers rotate, so the numbers are now upright at this angle instead of having to read them from an angle. It does that automatically. I guess it has some sort of, motion detector or something in it that detects when you stand it up, and it switches the display. So I thought that was really cool. So anyway, I'll pull this back off so I can show this a little better, and I'll move in a little bit closer. And what you have here is, first you got your OLED display. You've got your volume control, and you've got your input switch and your power on and off, and then you have your 4.4 millimeter balanced Pentacon headphone output, and your 6.3 millimeter single-ended output. Excuse me, I'm struggling a little bit with this video. I actually had to start it over about 4 times now. So Anyway, on the rear, you've got a set of XLR 3-pin balanced outputs to use this as a standalone DAC or as a preamp. You've got a set of RCA analog outputs. Then you've got your 3 digital inputs. You've got your coax, your USB, and your optical in the middle there. And then you've got your 5.5 volt DC power input here. And then you've got your Bluetooth antenna here. I think I did mention that this does have Bluetooth. If I didn't, I'm sorry, but it does, and I don't have the antenna on it right now, but it does come with the antenna. Oh, I did want to mention also, and I don't have it with me here, it's in the other room, it did come with a small remote control. You can control your volume and your inputs, and I'm not sure, I think that's about it, but it is pretty cool having a remote. So anyway, getting into the sound, and I've had this about a week, and the first thing that stood out is it just seems to have a really good DAC in it. And the words that kind of popped into my mind while I was listening to this, and I've only had a chance to listen to it a few times, maybe half a dozen times, but probably only a few hours so far, and this is the peak of my work season. I've been working a lot, so trying to do the best I can to get these videos in right now. But anyway, the words that popped into my mind while I was listening to this were, first of all, clarity and detail, and then the words natural and realistic and organic were kind of, did I say organic or organic? I'm not sure. Anyway, like I said, I haven't done a video in a week and been working hard, and I'm kind of struggling with this, but I appreciate your patience with me, and I appreciate the patience from Hi-Fi and the other companies that are waiting for their reviews to come out. So anyway, yeah, just kind of a natural, very smooth sound to it. And I did run the outputs of this and used it as a standalone DAC to my Audio GD Master 9 headphone amp. And doing that, I realized this does have a really good DAC in it, and I'm really impressed, and kind of reminds me a little bit of my, kind of been my reference DAC since I've been doing this, is my benchmark DAC 1. And the DAC has kind of that same sort of just very natural, realistic sound to it. It doesn't have a digital sound. As far as the headphone amp part of this, it sounds very clean, very clear, very good, but it's not going to hold up to the most power-hungry headphones. I did try the Hi-Fi Man Sandara with it, and I can tell you right now, the single-ended output of this does not have enough power to make the Sandara sound the way it should. I mean, yeah, it'll play plenty loud, but it doesn't provide the current that the Sandara needs to produce a bass and have weight and sound solid and all that. So if you're going to use this, this does do a pretty good, decent job with the Sandara, but you're going to need to balance cable and use the 4.4 millimeter output. It does do pretty good with the Sandara with that output. It's still not 100%. It's like about 90-95% because I did switch over. I had this hooked up, so I was using this DAC, but my Audio GD Master 9 amp. And I went from the balanced output of this to the balanced output of the Master 9 with the Sandara. And the Master 9 does give it a little more weight to the bass, a little bit more of a solid sound. So this from the balanced output is probably taking the Sandara about 90 to 95% of the way there, just not quite all the way. But from the single-ended output, no. This does not have adequate power for the Sandara, which means if you have a Hi-Fi Man Aria That needs more power than the Sundara. This amp, the DAC is going to be fine. This is a great DAC. So if you use it as a standalone DAC and use another amp with more power, it'll be fine for the Urea. But I really can't say that this is going to have enough power to make the Urea sound good, because it's barely getting there with the Sundara. The Hi-Fi Man HE500 is about the same roughly as the Sundara. The 560, forget it. That needs even more power than the Urea does. So if you got an HE560, this amp is not going to put enough power out. You'll have to use it as a standalone DAC and use something with more power. So just to kind of wrap it up, my first impressions are this appears to be an excellent DAC with a very smooth, natural sound. The headphone amp is good for most headphones. I was listening to a headphone I just got in for review, and it'll probably be my next first impressions video, and that is the ZMF Verite headphone, which is an outstanding headphone. And even from the single-ended output, and that's a 300 ohm headphone, this seemed to do a pretty good job with that. So this is going to work with most headphones, just not hard to drive planar magnetic headphones. So anyway, great DAC, adequate headphone amp for most headphones, but I will spend another 2 or 3 weeks with this, hopefully get some more listening time in it and dive a little bit deeper into the sound and get back to you with a full review in a couple weeks. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Once again, this is William from the Headphone Experience. If this video has helped you, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And please join us at the Headphone Experience on Facebook. We're at about 9,700 members. Thanks for watching my video.